Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, welcome back inside our studios for the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. You can give me a call tonight, 412-575-2600. The phone lines are currently open. You can also tweet me at Richie Walsh. We'll be talking about the Super Bowl, the Rams-Patriots. Who do you like? You just heard who I liked. I'm not going to play spoiler here. I'm going to tell you I like the Rams right off the beginning. That's who I like. I have a good feeling about the Rams, and maybe you could prove me wrong. And it's not because I'm a homer and I hate the Patriots or anything like that. I just think the Rams are a better team. I think Tom Brady, no doubt, is the best quarterback in the NFL. It is the best quarterback that probably ever played the game, and I think he might be the best football player that ever played the game. And I said this before a few weeks ago on this show, and I think he is the best football player that ever played in the NFL. He's been around forever, and he might find ways to get it done. He always does with less talent than teams like the Steelers. But I like the Rams' defense. I like the Rams up front. I like the Rams' corners. And I just think that I know Belichick is maybe the better coach, the more experienced coach. But, Jared Goff, he struggled since he lost Cooper Kupp. And they've struggled to find some offense. But he has two pretty good receivers in Cooks and Robinson. And, I just have a good feeling. I think the Rams win this. I'm surprised that it wasn't even. I know a lot of people are betting on the Patriots and are betting on Tom Brady. But I didn't even think that the Patriots were the best team in the AFC. And I think if the Steelers could have got in the playoffs somehow, if they didn't screw things up, they might have been a team that could beat the Patriots. This was a year the Patriots were beatable, and they ran through the AFC. I just like the Rams in this one. Prove me wrong. Tell me why I should like the Patriots. I know they have some weapons, but they have Rex Burkhead is going to score touchdowns in the AFC Championship to win you the game. The Rams have a better running game. They have a better running back. I know it didn't look that way last week, but I like the Rams. I like the way they're made up. This team was built to play in the Super Bowl. They're there. Aaron Donald is one game away from winning the Super Bowl, and I like the Rams tomorrow. I would take the Rams to win. I don't know what the money line is now, but I know they're getting 2.5, and I told you a little bit earlier that I talked to some Vegas odds makers, and they told me they think it's going to go up to 3. So maybe wait till tomorrow if you like the Rams. But I'd imagine that line's going to be pretty long at the Rivers Casino tomorrow if you're betting at the Rivers Casino, which if you're going to bet, I guess that's where you have to go to bet. We could talk about that. I'd also like to hear some of your prop bets. Do you like heads or tails? I always like to bet on the coin toss. I don't know why, just because maybe it's quick and it's over with. You either win or lose right away. So I always bet on the coin toss, and tails never fails. But I think I'm going to go with heads this year. The one other prop bet that I like, I've been looking around, I like total yards for touchdowns. It's in the 80s. I think that's going to be over. I think we're going to see like a 31, 28-point game. And with that many touchdowns, I think you're going to get over those 80-some yards. I want to look at some individual. Last year, I know I took some. I like Tom Brady on over passing yards and over his longest completion. I haven't looked at that right now, but I'll probably do some research tomorrow. But I'd like to hear what you guys think of some of the better prop bets out there right now and which one's your favorite. Also, we could talk about the Pitt Panthers' fifth straight loss to an ACC team. Another game where you're kind of outmatched against the Syracuse team. Bigger, they play the zone, which given the Panthers some problems because they don't really have some perimeter shooting right now. They shot, 22% from three-point range today, and that's not going to get it done. Jared Wilson frame, he's probably your best outside shooter, and, he didn't make many. He took the most shots from outside from the perimeter. They were down 16, and they fought their way back, outscored the Orange 14-4 at the beginning of the second half, and then the Orange just kind of woke up and it just kind of ran away with it. Brissett was their leading scorer with 18, and when you don't have those guards making shots, it's going to be tough for the Panthers to win right now. But I'm encouraged. I think they're going to be better. I really like their head coach. I like the excitement around the Pete now. I think that as soon as he finds the right pieces, maybe get an inside presence, even though Terrell Brown, I think he led the Panthers today in scoring with 16 points. But you need a big guy, and you need a really, really good shooter, and that's something that they don't have right now. And the Penguins just wrapped up in Toronto. They're back home on Tuesday. They lost tonight in Toronto by the score of 3-2. This is a matchup you could potentially see in the playoffs. I like the Penguins to go far, maybe to the Eastern Conference Finals, and that's a team that they could match up with in the Eastern Conference Finals. This is a team that has the firepower just like the Penguins do, and you saw it tonight. They had the lead 3-2. Hyman scored there right before the third period, and they're 24-0 now when leading heading into the third period, and it's the best in the NHL. So they're going to be a tough out, that's for sure. But the Penguins are right in the mix. They're tied for second place in the Metro, them and the Washington Capitals. So, I think they're in a good position. I like the trades. If you want to talk about the trades, we talked a little bit about it last night, but I like the big guy, Bugstad. I think he's going to be more of a fit for the Penguins than maybe Derek Brassard was. All right, we got to take a break. Back with more of your phone calls, 412-575-2600. The phone lines are open, or you can tweet me at Richie Balsh. See you in 2 minutes.
The Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call is brought to you by Contracting, putting new roofs on Pittsburgh homes for over 25 years. Call Ireland Contracting at 1-800-NEW-ROOF.